Nobody fears the loudest person in the room forever. Eventually, people realize noise is not strength. Real power is quieter, controlled, precise, unshaken. Think about the people who constantly interrupt you, talk over you, push your buttons, and somehow seem to dominate conversations simply because they create chaos. Most people respond emotionally. They argue harder, raise their voice, defend themselves endlessly, and without realizing it, they hand over control. But Stoicism teaches something different. You do not need to overpower people to command respect. You simply need to remain grounded while others lose control. In this video, you'll learn 5 Stoic replies that instantly shift the energy of conversations. Not insults, not manipulative tricks, but calm responses that expose disrespect, stop manipulation, and protect your peace without destroying your dignity. And reply. Number 3, changes the entire power dynamic. Section 1, why emotional people? Lose control. Most arguments are not about truth. They are about dominance. People interrupt because they want control. They provoke because they want reaction. They escalate because they want emotional power over you. Epictetus warned that when someone controls your emotions, they control you. That is why emotional discipline matters. Not to suppress emotion, but to prevent manipulation. The moment you react impulsively, you surrender clarity, and once clarity disappears, so does your power. Reply 1. I don't need to raise my voice to be right. Some people confuse loudness with confidence. They interrupt constantly, speak aggressively, talk over others to appear dominant. Most people either explode emotionally or become silent and intimidated, but this response changes the atmosphere instantly. I don't need to raise my voice to be right. Calm, simple, controlled. This response quietly exposes emotional immaturity without becoming disrespectful. And psychologically, that unsettles people, because calmness highlights chaos automatically. Marcus Aurelius believed strength comes from self-control, not emotional intensity. This response demonstrates exactly that. Reply 2. The way you're speaking says, more about you than me. Some people attack character instead of ideas, sarcasm, mockery, passive-aggressive comments. Their goal is not discussion, it's emotional destabilization. But this response refuses to absorb their negativity. The way you're speaking says more about you than me. Notice what happens here. You do not insult them. You do not defend yourself desperately. You simply separate their behavior from your identity. That is emotional intelligence. And emotionally, reactive people hate it because they lose the ability to define your emotional state. Reply 3. We can talk when we can do it respectfully. This is the reply manipulators hate most. Why? Because manipulators rely on emotional chaos, interruptions, escalation, provocation, pressure. They want you emotionally trapped inside the conflict, but this response breaks the loop instantly. We can talk when we can do it respectfully. Not emotional, not defensive, just a boundary. And boundaries change everything, because now the conversation is no longer about winning. It's about standards. Epictetus taught that you cannot control others, but you can control what behavior you accept. This response protects your peace while exposing disrespect calmly. Reply 4. I'm not going to continue this conversation. One of the strongest things a person can do is walk away from unnecessary conflict. Most people stay trapped because they desperately want validation. They want the other person to finally understand them. But emotionally immature people often do not want understanding. They want reaction. That's why this response is powerful. I'm not going to continue this conversation. No anger, no drama, no speech, just calm disengagement, because protecting your peace is more important than winning pointless battles. Seneca warned that anger turns intelligent people foolish. This response prevents that completely. Reply 5. That's your view. I respect it, but I don't share it. Not every disagreement requires conflict. Sometimes people push their opinions aggressively because they cannot tolerate different perspectives, and most people respond by arguing endlessly, becoming defensive, or surrendering their own beliefs. But this response creates emotional independence. That's your view. I respect it, but I don't share it. Calm, respectful, unmovable, and psychologically, it leaves nowhere for unnecessary conflict to grow, because you acknowledge their perspective without abandoning your own. That is confidence without aggression. Section 7. Why calmness feels powerful. Have you noticed something? Emotionally reactive people often become uncomfortable around calm individuals. Why? Because calmness signals internal control. And internal control is rare. Anyone can remain composed when life is easy. But staying steady under pressure, that commands respect automatically. Stoicism trains exactly this: not domination over others, mastery over yourself. Section 8. Stop explaining yourself. Excessively over-explaining usually comes from fear. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of misunderstanding. But confident people understand something important. Not everyone needs to agree with you, and not every accusation deserves defense. The more grounded you become internally, the less desperate you become externally. Section 9. Presence changes power dynamics. When you stop reacting emotionally, people notice, manipulators notice, aggressive people notice, disrespectful people notice, because suddenly, you are no longer easy to control. Your calmness changes the entire interaction. And over time, people begin measuring their words around you. Not because you became intimidating, because you became emotionally disciplined. Personal shift. Story section. There was a time I reacted to everything. Criticism ruined my mood. Arguments consumed my energy. Disrespect triggered anger. Instantly and honestly, it made me feel powerless. Then I discovered Stoicism, and slowly I realized the goal is not to win every argument. The goal is to remain in control of yourself. That changed everything. I stopped reacting immediately, stopped explaining endlessly, stopped trying to dominate conversations, and strangely, people respected me more, not because I became louder, because I became calmer. 30-day Stoic communication. Reset week 1. Awareness. Observe emotional triggers. Stop reacting instantly. Practice. Calm silence. Week 2. Boundaries. Speak slower. Reduce defensiveness. Protect. Emotional energy. Week 3. Presence. Maintain calm eye contact. Use short, clear responses. Stop over-explaining. Week 4. Mastery. Stay composed under pressure. Detach from validation. Respond intentionally. Final recap, the 5. Stoic replies, I don't need to raise my voice to be right. The way you're speaking says more about you than me. We can talk when we can do it respectfully. I'm not going to continue this conversation. That's your view. I respect it, but I don't share it. Simple words, but psychologically powerful, because calmness changes everything. Final message. The strongest people are not always the loudest. Often, they are the most emotionally disciplined, the least reactive, the hardest to manipulate. Because real power is not controlling others. It is controlling yourself. That is Stoicism. CTA, high retention. Comment, stay grounded, and tell me which of these replies are you going to use first, and in what situation? Next video tease next week. Why emotionally detached people are so powerful. The Stoic psychology of calm energy, boundaries, and emotional independence. Until then.